Hello everybody, welcome to the Nike Ease Challenge webinar. Thanks for joining us. My name's Leo Sandino Taylor. I'm the Senior Director of Innovation Communications here at Nike, and I'm joined by our two main speakers today, Tobie Hatfield, who is Senior Director for Athlete Innovation at Nike, and Kevin Stark, who's the VP of NineSigma. I'll tell you a little bit about both our gentlemen who are joining us. So Tobie was the lead creator for Nike's free technology. He was the designer of the Air Presto and the inventor of Nike FlyEase, which I'm sure all of you have been reading about in recent days. But perhaps most famously, Tobie created Michael Johnson's gold track spikes that he wore in his victorious Olympic campaigns. Kevin's the Vice President at NineSigma, as I said, and he oversees the company's strategic initiatives. He's managed over 300 open innovation projects in fields such as aerospace, automotive, apparel, internet security, and consumer goods. I thought we'd start by telling you a little bit about Nike, our values and our mission statement, which is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete. And the asterisk represents that if you have a body, you're an athlete. It's a very important words at Nike. It's really the guiding light in choosing the work we accelerate and the work we focus on. The idea stems from our co-founder, Bill Bowerman, and it's something that the design team and really the entire company holds true as values today. More broadly on Nike innovation, the voice of the athlete is the guidepost to the problems we solve. So based on their feedback, we create the products and solutions to solve their problems and challenges. Some recent examples include the work we did in the Rio Olympics with Allyson Felix. She came to us and wanted to explore the idea of breaking history and repeating gold in the 4 and 200 meters at the Rio Olympics. From those conversations, we spend our time finding the specific elements that we think will give Allyson the edge against the competition and create the product solutions that will help her achieve that goal. In a similar way, we're able to create positive change and expand the potential of everyday athletes like Matthew Waltzer, who I'm hoping a lot of you have read about through the Nike FlyEase project. By listening to Matthew's needs, FlyEase has allowed him to lead a more independent life by being able just to get a pair of shoes on without the help of others. Those two examples will give you a great balance to what we try to achieve within innovation at Nike. So let me hand over to Tobie, who will take you through a little bit about this project and where our passion for it stems.
Thanks a lot, Leo. Appreciate that intro, and I really appreciate being here, and I'm super excited about this program, the Nike Ease Challenge. For me, as personally, and certainly Nike as a company, we've had a really long history of personal connection in designing, footwear for athletes of all abilities and levels. We've definitely have had a lot of great success stemming all the way from the Nike Air Rift to the Nike Sock Dart, and really a ton more that would take too long to go through at this time. But the Nike Ease Challenge came into being was actually started really a long time ago, around the early 2000s, when our first employee, Jeff Johnson, suffered a stroke, unfortunately, and really struggled to get the shoes on, Nike shoes on, that he so dearly loved and helped start this company to do. And so he reached out, and we provided a solution for him. It was a simple solution, but no less for him it was extremely important, and it gave him back the independence that he had before his stroke. That really started us on this journey of the Nike FlyEase. And in between all of that, we really worked also with some other people with challenges, such as Sarah Reinertsen, who is an incredible athlete, triathlete, first woman amputee to finish the Kona Ironman triathlon. in Hawaii, and we helped her with providing the proper traction and cushioning for her Oster Flex Run prosthetic blade. And that, again, was just really starting to show what we were about here as a company. I first started learning about innovation all the way back to our co-founder that Leo just mentioned, Bill Bowerman, who really started to teach me, and I didn't know it at the time when I was a senior in high school, where asked me to come in and have my feet x-rayed, but I wasn't injured. He just wanted to know where all the bones in my feet were. And when I came back after a couple of weeks, he put on the table a custom pair of track spikes for me. And he had repositioned all of the spikes on the bottom of the plate to match the bony prominences in my foot. And I was just in awe. I was just like, wow, what insight, what determination, but also what type of a philosophy of innovation that he was actually teaching me at that time. And it was simply about asking the question, what if? Similar to how he asked the question of himself, what if, when his wife opened up the waffle iron, he didn't see egg, water, flour going in there, he saw liquid rubber. And he just basically asked the question, what if I put liquid rubber in there, and what if I mold that geometry, and what if I put that on the bottom of the shoe, and what if the athlete takes off, and what if it works really well? And he, in a sense, based off of asking a question, what if, he created the Nike waffle sole, which is obviously so famous for our company and really for our sports, our industry. And so fast forward to this century, that's what we're doing still today. And when we finally got Matthew Walter's letter, it really took us to a whole nother level, that we started again with Jeff Johnson and then Sarah. Matthew Walter just, again, imposed his thoughts that this is not just about him, but it's about the whole community of those who really need this. And Bill Bowerman also said that the mother of all innovation is a need or a necessity. And so his need was to seek independence, just like Jeff Johnson's was, and Sarah with the outsole. And so we're just basically continuing to do that for all of these athletes. And athletes asterisk, if you have a body, you are an athlete. And so we're super excited about what we've done with the Fly Ease, which, as if you follow that, like Leo said, it features a wraparound zipper solution that simply just opens the back of the shoe near the heel counter and allows your foot to slide in and out very, very easily for most athletes. And now we have the Nike Hyper Adapt, which is a powered solution, which is really, really exciting as well. It's just at the beginning of that. So with all of that, the Nike East Challenge embodies this the Nike mission by calling on a broader community of innovators to share in this commitment to elevate athletes of all levels. And we just think that is really, really an important aspect of what this is all about. And that, again, is helping all athletes of all levels. The challenge specifically is calling on all designers and engineers, makers, innovators, those who have a passion for innovation and desire to remove barriers for all athletes and come up with solutions that provide a more hands-free experience. and allows people to more easily put on, secure, and take off their shoes. This is driven by our competitive spirit, and we are committed to doing the seemingly impossible for athletes. That's why we're inviting others to design solutions that will advance footwear in a way that enable athletes at all levels to live more active and independent lives. It's pretty much that simple. So the design criteria, we know a few of you have questions about what exactly we're looking for, and we thought that we might assist you in building a better shoe for the athlete, asterisk. And so Nike is, in a sense, really committed to advancing and accelerating the innovation so that these athletes are truly getting what they are looking for. Since we started the Nike FlyEase, I've talked to a lot of athletes out there where this is making a difference, and they just keep asking, what else can you do? What else can you do? And so again, we're calling on the broader community here of designers, innovators, and makers and inventors to accelerate this innovation. And again, we're really excited about that. The focus is on designing footwear solutions that, again, provide a more hands-free experience and allow people to, again, more easily put on, secure, and take off their shoes. It's that simple. We're looking for inspiration as well, so we want to know what is inspiring your concepts, what are inspiring your ideas to come to a viable solution. And that is also just as important as the actual solution itself, your inspiration behind it. Remember again that you're dealing with people that have limited dexterity, but also we're also dealing with people that ultimately, unfortunately, may not be ever able to do it themselves. So then we're also helping the caregiver as well, and that is also super important and something that, again, we're learning as we get more and more into this. Again, most of the people are going to have restricted use of their arms and hands and lower body, and also cognitively as well. So it's not just about the physical movement, but also just the ability to think on how to, get into your shoes and secure them. Solutions that hinge upon the use of traditional zipper technology, a power system, or require a separate non-integral tool are of less interest. I mean, we've already been down those paths. It's not something that we're going to eliminate immediately, but if I were in this challenge myself, I would think about things other than what Nike has already done. That is simply your choice, but those are going to be less of interest to us. After the initial screening, it's important for you to understand that up to 15 innovators will be invited to submit a prototype of their design in a Nike shoe. So it's really important that in the initial submissions that if you're serious about moving forward and trying to get into that top 15, that your submissions ultimately will need to be prototyped. So if you're submitting via a sketch or a video or any type of submission that matches the requirements for phase 1, just know that phase 2 is going to be an actual prototype itself. So it needs to be workable. We're interested more in the working solutions, of course, so that we're not just getting napkin sketches. So again, one more time, after the initial screening, up to 15 innovators will be invited to submit a prototype of their design in a Nike shoe. So with that, I'll hand it over to Kevin.
Great, thanks, Tobie. So all of you on the phone, hopefully you've now been really inspired by what Nike is looking for through this challenge. And now we really want to get into some details because we know you have questions on the submission requirements, such as whether building a prototype is required at this stage, what software might be required, do designs need to be rendered in 3D, 2D, etc. So now I really want to take a few minutes to outline the submission criteria that's required in order for your technology to be considered. So first, keep in mind that participants must complete and submit the online submission form by December 15th, 2016 by 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Again, you have to go to the website, NikeEastChallenge.com, and on the main page, if you scroll to the bottom, there's a button that says Apply to the Nike East Challenge. Per the terms and conditions, Nike reserves the right to consider only the first 500 qualified submissions, and all submissions will serve as the participant's first and final proposal, which means that you may not revise your entry once it's been submitted. And again, go to the submission form to take a look at the information that's required, and if need be, download the information so you can work it offline and understand the questions and criteria you'll have to consider when you're submitting. For your submission to be considered qualified, it must include your inspiration for participating and for developing the proposed solution, an overview of the technology. So for example, what problem are you trying to solve for, and how does that problem address ease of entry exit? How does your solution work, and how is it made? Provide evidence of the technical maturity. Do you already have a proof of concept? Have you prototyped this? Is it already in use, etc.? And finally, give us a sense of the background of you, or if you're submitting as a team, what your experience and expertise is. Have you worked within this field? Do you have life experiences that have prepared you to develop your approach on this project? And don't forget, submissions will be considered non-confidential. So last, although all that information is extremely useful, it's really important to see visuals related to your technology. So we really require you to submit a video or series of graphics demonstrating the operation. And when you do that, we really are going to ask that you specifically include a rear view of the foot going in, being secured, and then exiting. Same thing for a side view of the foot going in, being secured, and exiting. If you submit a video, we ask that those must be 20 seconds or less. And if you're providing a series of graphics, please don't submit multiple files. Combine all of those into a single PDF file. And really that's meant to give you as much flexibility to be as creative as possible. Really, there's no restrictions on the design software that you use. You can sketch concepts by hand, other medium, painting, drawing, as long as you demonstrate the outline criteria. But really, we don't want you to send CAD files. Take all of those graphics, compile them into a single document, and make sure that that's a single PDF. And really put yourselves in the shoes of the Nike reviewers. Make it easy for them to evaluate and take a look at what you've submitted. So that's how to submit. Let's talk about evaluation criteria. Nike will evaluate your design considering the following criteria: optimized for easy entry, closure, and exit of the shoe, engineered for high performance and fit, transferable across a potentially wide range of shoe sizes, viable and ready for prototyping, and again, your inspiration, your story for what caused you to enter this challenge. And again, go back to the website, read complete details on the evaluation criteria, and take a look at the terms and conditions, which are also downloadable. So Tobie talked briefly and kind of outlined the entire program, but if you've already been to the website, we have a challenge timeline graphic there. And I'm going to step through this very quickly so you really understand where we are today and how this challenge stages across multiple phases. Again, this graphic's on the website. These details are also part of the terms and conditions that you can take a look at there. Right now we're in the middle of phase 1, which opened on October 28th for this challenge and continues until the challenge deadline, again, December 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Participants must complete and submit their online submission form by that date, and Nike reserves the right to consider only the first 500 qualified submissions, and all submissions serve as the participant's first and final proposal. Based on evaluating those qualified submissions, up to 15 innovations will be invited to advance to phase 2, and you heard Tobie talk about that before. We'll be notifying people in late January that those 15 people have progressed into phase 2, and they'll be invited to submit a prototype of their design technology in a Nike shoe. Each of those innovators will have until early March 2017 to submit a prototype, which will essentially be their entry to compete into a spot for the finals. And the finals is really phase 3, and that will take place March to April 2017. 3 finalists will be selected by the end of March, and in a minute I'll let Leo describe sort of the experience for what's going to happen then, but it's really part of allowing you to present your design to a panel of Nike leaders at Nike World Headquarters. The finalists, in addition to receiving travel arrangements, will receive non-monetary assistance, such as presentation support for their demonstration. And at the end of that, the winning innovation will be selected and announced in April 2017, and that winner will receive a $50,000 cash award with the possibility to innovate along with leading Nike designers. So with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Leo, who's really going to talk about what is that Nike experience going to entail.
Thanks, Kevin. So as Kevin said, guys, the top 15 will be narrowed down to 3 finalists who will be brought out to our world headquarters here in Beaverton, Oregon, and they'll have a chance to present their designs to a panel of Nike's executive leadership team and some of our athletes. With the assistance with your presentations, each of the finalists is going to be offered some support from various Nike marketing and communications functions. And that support can help with putting together the design of your presentation. It can help with the visual elements. It can help with the language elements. What we'll be doing is outlining to each of the finalists what is possible, and then it'll be up to the finalists whether they want to take us up on that. I think we'd encourage it purely because it will be a great learning experience to understand how stories at Nike and how projects at Nike are green-lit and how they're developed. So we'll be on hand, a group of us will be on hand to help with that. So that will be something that's available to the finalists. They'll also receive a tour of the campus. We have an enormous facility here, very impressive, that will open up to the 3 finalists. Obviously, as I said, there'll be a chance to interact with not only the athletes and the executive leadership team, but some of Tobie's team who have been working on projects like this. And we'll also offer passes to the Nike employee store, which is an excellent benefit of being an employee of Nike, and is a very cool place to go and visit that's just around the corner. So overall, we're trying to give everyone who makes the final as good an opportunity as possible to get a full Nike experience. The next part of the presentation, or the webinar we're going to go through, is answering some of the questions that already came in. We can see that there are additional questions coming in as we're talking, and we will update the Q&A on the website with answering as many of those questions as possible. So if you give us 1 or 2 days, we will go through those today and begin to put the answers together. So bear with us there. But what we'll do is we'll now go through around half a dozen of the main topics that came up prior to this call. So I'll jump in with this first one. And this is, I think, Tobie's in the best position to answer. So Tobie, how advanced do ideas need to be at the time of submission, and is a prototype required?
So Leo, I'll answer the second part of that first. a prototype, as I said before, in phase 1 is not required at the time of submission. We are just simply looking for ideas, whether, again, it's been prototyped or not at that time, but again, it's not required. But again, as I also said earlier, think about, that if you're going to, and you want to advance to the top 15, then it will need to be required. So the advancement at the time of submission should have some forethought that in the near future it is going to need to be prototyped. So it should have some really good thought process of how you're going to prototype that, and hopefully even on your way to doing that, to be ready to submit in phase 2.
Right, so next question. Can we apply our design to an existing Nike shoe, or do we have to come up with our own?
Yes, you can apply your design to an existing model or build your own shoe. Again, in phase 1, it's all about just getting that concept out and really showing us how it actually works, again, whether it's in a video or it's in sketch form, however it's best for you to describe it to us. And then if you are invited, though, to submit a prototype for phase 2, you will be required to prototype into a Nike shoe. And we will provide 3 options of a Nike silhouette of a shoe that you can choose from, and Nike then will provide the components for whichever option you choose. So that should be very clear, and should be very helpful to the top 15.
Right. Next question is Nike seeking more technology over design?
Absolutely. I mean, it's always about function first. We know we can always make it cool. We have a lot of great designers here that do obviously have strong skill sets to make anything look great. But the first thing is it has to work first. And we certainly don't want it to be a gimmick either. We really want this to truly meet the needs of those out there that are seeking this independence. And quite frankly, we can all benefit from it when we do that. So that's a really cool thing to be able to understand that certainly function or technology comes first.
Excellent. Yeah. Next question was, I have no formal education in design. Can I still apply?
Well, I hope so, Leo, because I have no formal education in design. If anybody's read up on my bio, this is truly about what comes from inside of any one concept innovator. And you don't have to go to school to have that. I think, again, I'm a living example of that. I've been fortunate to have been around those, again, to help bring that out in me. But this is truly about inspiration. It's about passion. It's truly about helping those who have a need. And we know there's a lot of people out there, especially listening here on the webinar, that have that passion, and we really want to tap into that and, again, accelerate the innovation in this space.
Right. Next question was, if the shoe design utilizes traditional zipper technology, magnets, Velcro, or powered systems, will it be disqualified?
Well, Leo, I'll just say on the zipper and powered systems, again, we have gone down that path, and we are down that path right now. They won't be automatically disqualified. You know, the powered systems and the zipper technologies, and actually anything that maybe uses a separate tool as well to make this work are of less interest, but they will not be automatically discarded at all. So I think everybody should be able to, again, utilize the best system to make this work for their concept. But I'm truly, and I think Nike is truly looking for a technology that advances what we've already have put out there, and I think that's the main thing here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Last question for today is, would a shoe specifically for people who suffer from diabetic neuropathy be considered for this?
All designs, Leo, that meet submission requirements will be considered, period. I mean, it's all about helping athletes asterisk, and if you have a body, you're an athlete, as Bill Bowerman, our co-founder, said. And for us, it's truly about activating that asterisk, period.
I think it's worth adding here to everyone that your story is very important in helping us understand the design. And I was to use this as a great question as an example as well. If there is something specific you're designing for, explain to us that in your submission of why you think that solution works for that type of ability. It's critical that, you know, we haven't spoken to every athlete with every ability in the world. So if there's something within your design that really does solve a problem for someone with a certain ability, please outline that for us. Like Tobie said earlier on, the story is very important. It'll be important when you're submitting your idea today or in the coming weeks. It'll be very important when you come to Nike to pitch your idea finally. So in that example and other examples like that, if you're looking to solve something that's very specific, then please outline for us why you believe your solution solves that specific need. So guys, as I said, we know there's other questions. We've seen some coming in today. We will be addressing those on the website, so look out for that in the coming days, and we'll make sure that you're notified when that's been updated. But to close out, I'll just hand back to Kevin so he can wrap up today's webinar.
Great, thanks guys. So just some final housekeeping notes. Make sure everybody has some of the most important information, which is don't forget to visit the challenge website at www.nikeeastchallenge.com. We've said it a couple times, but just to be really clear, the submission deadline is December 15th, 2016, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Nike reserves the right to consider only the first 500 qualified submissions. And if you have additional questions outside this webinar, please reach out to us at NineSigma. Our solution provider help desk is available with the email grandchallenge@ninesigma.com or by phone, area code 216-283-3901. And a quick note, we have recorded this webinar session and we'll make that available for playback as well as transcript in the coming days. Please check back to the challenge site to take a look for that. So on behalf of myself and the team here at NineSigma, and on behalf of Leo and Tobie and the whole team at Nike, we appreciate everybody for joining today, and thanks a lot and good luck.
Thank you.